his name, shot a dozen Dallas police officers, killing 5 during a rally to protest against the police. This particular protest was put together by the Black Lives Agenda, who was complaining about the death of 2 armed thugs who were engaged with police officers. You didn't see any Hasidic kids shot by cops while they were engaged with police officers. I don't think we've seen it any time in the last 8 years. Go figure. The suspect said he was upset about Black Lives Matter, Dallas Police Chief David Brown later told reporters. He said he was upset about the recent shootings. He wanted to kill white people, especially white officers. Of course, little Barry Obama doesn't understand what the killer's motivations were. The pathetic, fat slob, Loretta Lynch, she doesn't understand what the killer's motivations are. I bet you I put a box of donuts in front of Loretta Lynch and we'll see where her motivation is. Right, Cupcake? While the defendants, spearheaded by Obama, blame the police, non-minorities, for fanning tensions that lead to violence, statistics show that the murder rate has been steadily increasing across America during Obama's tenure. The complaint said much of this crime involves black-on-black violence in communities that are primarily black. The 52-page complaint chronicles detailed accusations against each of the defendants, including Obama and Holder, who have met several times with Al Sharpton, the president of the National Action Network, and leaders of Black Lives Matter, going over plans to change government policies regarding police officers. Obama made the statement, "There's a long history in this country of African Americans and Latinos being stopped by law enforcement disproportionately." Well, that might have something to do with the disproportionate amount of crime blacks and Latinos commit compared to their percentage of the actual population. And, says the article, the pair incited and inflamed violent crowds into committing arson, looting, destruction of property, and assaults on police officers based on the idea that the nation's police officers are intentionally and systematically targeting and hunting and killing blacks, without admitting that most police are responding to incidents from 911 calls regardless of race. Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam, he has called for active duty black military members to come back home to the United States and lead a national insurrection against society. In 2014, he spoke to a crowd of 2,000, calling for revenge in Ferguson, Missouri, for the police shooting of street thug Michael Brown. A year later, he told a Florida church to stalk and kill them, pertaining to Jews and Caucasians, as a 400-year-old enemy. Black Lives Matter leaders, Rashad Turner, Opal Tometi, Patrice Cullors, Alicia Garza, and D. Ray McKesson have inflamed tensions after Ferguson, to the point that Texas Sheriff's Deputy Darren Goforth was murdered at a gas station by a black man in 2015. Several days later, Black Lives Matter terrorists led a march in St. Paul chanting, "Pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon." The defendants have appeared on radio asking for followers to turn the tide and kill white people and cops to send a message. In the past few years, continues the article, numerous police officers have been injured or killed by minorities who were spurred on by the defendants' rhetoric, the complaint is argued. Since the Dallas killings, the officers have suffered injuries such as broken teeth and broken vertebrae while working protests that have sprung up nationwide. Domestic terrorist D. Ray McKesson told USA Today that criticism of Black Lives Matter is dishonest and a way for non-minorities to avoid a discussion over police brutality and racism. "We should not have to protest," he said. "We're in the street because police have killed people. We would love to go home, but we can't go home. We are unwilling to go home." But McKesson was arrested with 100 others during a march in Baton Rouge for blocking public thoroughfares. While on his European trip, little Barry Obama urged the public to avoid judging Black Lives Matter movement by the actions of its leaders. "There are always folks who will say things that are stupid," said Stupid. "I don't think you could hold well-meaning activists responsible for everything uttered at a protest site." What BADMach Radio reported on June 17, we attribute the fine to the Saint at the St. Negro 29, reported on June 1st that D. Ray McKesson's email had been hacked. And what was posted online was the email exchange between McKesson and his fellow Black Lives Matter terrorists. The question was put to D. Ray, have you spoken to Ms. Lynch recently about the plan for the summer and the fall leading up to the elections? D. Ray McKesson's response was, we spoke 2 weeks ago, and they want us to start really pushing how racist Trump is, instead of waiting so others can get the start, getting protests ready to shut both conventions down. If we can get both conventions shut down for messing over Bernie and having racist Trump, then get martial law declared so Obama can stay in office, we will win. Call you soon when I get to my dad's so I can use his landline and we could talk more on this. D. Ray McKesson admits, I was hacked today. My Twitter account, my 2 email addresses, and my phone. It was not due to passwords. They hacked my phone itself. It's reported that the SIM card itself was somehow compromised on D. Ray McKesson's account, and what it proves is that this individual is working with other individuals at the highest level of American government to subvert the laws and violate the civil rights of the American people with the Black Lives Matter fraud. The plan is the Summer of Rage. This Friday, July 15th, is the Black Lives Matter hijacking of a dozen American cities in what they call the Day of Rage. Day of Rage protests will be violent. They are being condoned once again by the highest levels of law enforcement in this nation. You heard that fraud the other day. Avoid 74 questions. Refuse to answer 74 questions. If you cannot answer 74 questions with a yes or a no answer while you're presumed to be the American Attorney General, you have abrogated your duty as a law enforcement officer. You are obviously obfuscating. You are obviously hiding and playing a tap dance game in front of all of America. And let me tell you something. Butterball down there in the Department of Justice, she is smooth. When she gets out of jail, we could give her a role in the Warriors 2. She could be them big lips with the microphone, running that smooth-ass jive routine like she ran yesterday in the House of Congress. That was amazing that she got away with that fraud. They've been getting away with it all along. Are you still afraid to say something about it, America? Do you think it's going to stop if Trump doesn't win? No, it's going to continue. It's going to get worse. Hillary gets in, you may as well kiss everything you understand goodbye. Pick your favorite gulag. Just check in, because that's where you're going to end up. You're going to be a third-rate citizen in a third-world country that you used to call America, because you have allowed racial frauds to supplant men and women of achievement with their lies and obfuscations and dodges and trickery. No more. You people who are regular listeners to the Bad Machine, I know who you are. You know who you are. You get your very own hammer. You start chipping away at the machine. Spread the word. The word is truth. The word is no compromise. Your lies and ideology are no longer acceptable. That's it. If you are hiding behind the Black Lives Matters terrorist lies, you're just as bad as they are. You're helping the lie spread. If you're spreading the lie that blacks are targeted in any way, shape, or form in this country, except for having their little asses kissed by white America, you are propagating a lie. You are propagating a myth. FBI stats are not racist. They are not bigoted. They do not see color. They count numbers, and they assign those numbers into categories. The only racism is you denying the reality that the stats represent. There is one group in America that is under continuous racial assault. There is one group in America whom it is acceptable to attack and berate and belittle and lecture with lies and frauds and mythology created by prisoners who only wanted revenge on the jailers who enforced the local laws. You are living in most dangerous times, America. You must prepare for the future. You must understand who this enemy is, and you must call it out. Otherwise, your children and your grandchildren will live in Get Whitey America until there is no more Whitey in America. You gonna let it happen on your watch? You're gonna let a fraud, no different than the lying crackhead at the 7-Eleven, take away everything you've built? Destroy everything your father built, your grandfather built, everything your great-grandfather came to this nation for? A liar, a man who hides behind fake names and a fake past and a fake education and a fake presentation? No. You have a job, America. I have many hammers, and there are many wheels that I need you to start smashing. You're all bad machines now. You know what the enemy wants, you know where the enemy is going, you know how it all ends up. You want to be a sucker? We're going to have to push you overboard. I'm sorry. We're all about winning now. You want to be an anchor? Anchor sink to the bottom. We don't need to keep those ropes tied to our ship. Shit can your lies. Shit can the phony agenda. Erase the race-based propaganda that has occulted your critical thinking and your ability to see everything around you. Stop worrying that your judgment of black criminals is prejudice and not just wise. Some men's prejudice are other men's discernment. You know rattlesnakes are poisonous, right? Does that mean you let them into your house? Does that mean you walk through a group of rattlesnakes because they may not bite you? What don't you understand? The rattlesnake has the microphone. A very soft skull under a very hard hammer. You've been listening to Jim Dynamo's Bad Machine on the PPRN Radio Network. Be part of the Bad Machine Radio Revolution by following our Twitter page at Bad Machine Radio and by visiting pprnradio.net. Bad Machine is a one-man media production, the exclusive owner of all original content. Otherwise, no rights are reserved. 2016.